cover this area of knowledge. You know, and then they can decide where they go with it. But let's start with Hamlet. And maybe we have Kipling's 1000, The Thousandth Man, or If. A wonderful poem. All right, you know, if I say a poem and you know it, and Uger knows it, oh, that's a poem we will use. Yes. You know, it's like cultural. Now, the first class that you teach has maximum 20 students, maybe 10. So you really know those 10 students. Okay. The next course, because this is an open university and they are receiving much of this free, or I'm not sure exactly the situation. Maybe it's going to be a private university, they pay, but you know, one of the conditions for keeping the costs low and effective is that the next course that you teach, each of them is paired with 2 students. So now you're able to handle 20 students. And you have 10 assistants. You don't really spend the time with those 20 students because you're checking in with your 10 assistants. And you're saying, okay, out of the 2 people that you're covering, how's it going? Well, there's one who's getting it, the other one is having marital problems. Why don't you call him? And so you're able to establish that close relationship again with the next level. Plus, you're checking with your first student and say, how's it going now? You know, I really don't quite understand this one part of the Hamlet. Why is he talking about arrows? I don't understand this arrows. Okay, so suddenly, because he's getting a second chance to study, and now this is he studied the poem once, but now maybe it's 3 months later he's having to come back to it, and so now he's becoming more of an expert. I'm trying to think, how do you eventually be able to broadcast to 300 people in one class? What happens? Each one of them has a previous student that you're working with, and maybe you have the original 10. There might be 3 of those 10
that could be
who
a great
become
system.
your assistant.
It could be a great system to create that assistant-student training.
And
online courses is good.
Online courses, and what this is doing is it allows one professor to handle 300. And the reason I'm saying this is that there's a guy who has 3,000 students in each course. And what happens is that maybe 10% retake the course free because they didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And so he's, out of that 3,000, maybe it's 2,500 that are new each semester. But
but they have people with experience already there that they can relate to.
And he said, well, you know, I'm going to call up Aung San Suu Kyi or whatever that lady is in Thailand. No, Burma. Right. She's under house arrest all the time. She calls back and says, you got 2,000 students? Sure, I'll talk by Skype. Let them ask questions. You know, and it's not every student's asking questions. They have to, you know, negotiate which question will be. That's a whole class right there. Let's negotiate the 10 questions we're going to choose.
We're going to ask.
We're going to vote on this. You know, what will we ask her? So
great collaboration thing.
He's got 3,000 students all paying attention. How does he do it? And it's like this level. And so, how could you do this with Hamlet? How could you do that? And
yes, you can. The answer is yes, you can do it. There are always strategies for any of that.
Right. And so this is
I love this thing of online education, being able to
build relationships. Because now suddenly you never meet the people, but now you have a mentor who's watching you, and he's teaching you by example that next semester you're going to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's then going to be checking in on you that you're doing okay.
This is also one of the great advantages of Skype in this media today.
Sure.
You know, you can have
9 people on one Skype.
Or you can talk to maybe one great celebrity who wants to give you 10 minutes of exposure, and it will be with Skyping for your students.
Sure.
On 3 questions.
Now, what would you describe this system? Is it creating tutors? It's like that first course creates the first 10 tutors.
I think we call
Tutor
it,
development.
yeah, we call it in Cuba alumnos ayudantes.
Oh, student assistants. Okay, student assistants.
We have similar.
That's
program.
one of the responsibilities of the student.
Yeah,
in order to get your credit,
yes,
you don't get the credit now. You get the credit after you've done this twice.
Actually, we actually get paid for that in Cuba,
okay, yeah.
at the university.
Right.
Because second year students become first year assistant, and it goes like that. So it's your first year, but you go back and you have to keep in touch with what you've learned to be able to explain and to work with that person.
Yeah.
But you also feel so important because, hey, now, you know, I'm a sophomore.
You're a year older, so now the young one is looking
you're
up
the
to
tutor, you come, then he's looking up to you, and you need that to you.
And this is at university level.
And so it's basically, this is how it is.
Right.
So basically, you're doing the same course 2 times.
And you're not isolated only within your class group. You're now branching down.
Yeah, exactly.
You have suddenly have twice the number of students that you can interact with.
And that creates a whole set of new.
Suddenly, it's like high school, like the beca.
Yeah, exactly. You're there. You're connected with them.
You're connected with the other age group.
Yeah, and it works real well. And it's good for you. It's good for the people you're working with. And now, that is an interesting system because if you can have like an online course that can take up so many people, if you can have
suddenly you can pay for this.
You could, you could, you could small amount of money only because you were tutoring someone, or you can say, well, whoever does best in a certain course earns this status, which is to train this student, which is a year younger, and